Hello, everyone, and welcome to Unicorn Light Tarot. Sincerely hope that this reading is coming in and around you at a time where you are happy and grounded. And if not, we will do our very best today to give you a little bit of peace of mind, at the very least, a little bit of support. So, we are gathering today for a True Hearts Valentine's reading. This is a timeless reading, however, we are coming into some beautiful pagan holidays, which is today or tomorrow. And then there's Valentine's Day in the middle of the month in February. So it's a very exciting month. So we thought we would get in touch with our True Heart Intuitive Tarot and get a True Heart Valentine's reading for you today. So yeah, we'll just leave it up to spirit and to this tarot, to this intuitive tarot, because it's intuitive, right? Can't really question that. So we'll see what Valentine's readings, what kind of messages we get for you today. If you are brand new here, thank you so much for joining us, and welcome. And for those of you who have been with us for a little while, welcome back. And of course, for those of you who have been here for a while, you know that we have the magic candle. We do love for these sessions to be either activations or healings or anything that you really need. Lots of other resources on the Unicorn Light Tarot channel too, but you can anything you don't need, you can certainly let go into the flame or bring in abundance and manifestation. Our beautiful oil that was made under the full moon with an eclipse last year, that beautiful year of 2020, that is sitting upon our candle here and will help you in any way that you need. So let's move on to our readings. As always, we have three piles. The first pile is the left branch, on the left branch of the tree of life. Here, that's the left branch for me. The main trunk of the tree is pile 2, and then we have sort of a mini tree here on the right side of the main tree here, and that is your pile 3. So take as much time as you need. The timestamps are always listed down below. The more in line you are with these readings, in line with your own energy and intuition, the more these readings will resonate. So if you need to go ahead and pause the video for any length of time, do a little meditation, come on back to this. Of course, use your intuition as always, the way in which you want, and you will get and receive the messages that you're looking for. So, excuse me, I got so excited. Let's go ahead and move these out of the way for now. So if you chose pile 1, these are your True Hearts Valentine's reading. We're going to start with the True Heart Intuitive Tarot, but we do have some oracle cards coming in to clarify all of your messages. Let's see what we have for you. We have the 5 of Wands is your first card. So such beautiful illustrations here. Ooh, we have the World. Love this. Beautiful. And we have the 9 of Pentacles, the 9 of Discs. Gorgeousness. So pile 1, the first message that we're getting for you is you are ready. Now, whether you are single, whether you're already in a relationship, you are ready to absolutely move to the next level in love without a shadow of a doubt. There's been a lot of figuring out, the way in which you heal is a little bit different to others. And and that absolutely works for you. It's you figured out what it is that you don't want, or what it is that who it is that you are not, and from there, that's intrinsically, I believe, the best way to do it. But we all heal in different ways. And what you've been doing is shedding what no longer serves. But you've also been looking back at the thread of your life to see how patterns have come about in your life. And you've also been doing this in your love life, one way or another. You've been sort of putting all the seams together and sewing them up the way in which you want. And it's kind of a weird thing to say, but bear with us. But you've realized many of you are caretakers. You have that empathic, beautiful, sensitive soul. And, to your credit, you see the beauty in absolutely everybody. Well, that's not true. You don't see the beauty in absolutely everybody, but you see this insane potential in absolutely everybody. The thing that you've had to realize, Part One, and it's been quite painful, is just because you see the potential in that person, whoever it is that you're giving your time to, it doesn't mean that that person is going to see that potential, and it certainly doesn't mean that that person will live up to that potential. Some people have just taken the energy and the worthiness that you've given them and sort of gone off and run amok, some of them. So, you've really figured out in your heart and mind what it is that works for you, how you've given your energy away, how you've given your power away, but particularly as this pertains to love. But in this, you've realized and you've made peace with yourself. You've made peace with your past in many different levels, but you've certainly made peace with old relationships. Now, some of these old relationships may have come back to you in sort of strange ways, not integrated back into your life where you're back with them, full on with them. Um, but it's but they've come back in other ways that could have been quite unexpected. And when they did, even though there was none of those feelings there anymore, it still allowed for a little bit more peace. It still allowed for you to understand and for those complexities to sort of fall into place, why it is that you were with them. And it was sort of this interesting way for you to cut the cords completely, even though ironically they were coming back into your life one way or another. And they weren't looking to come back to necessarily resume or respark, but they may have needed you for something, or you may have run into them. Now, if that hasn't happened, again, this is a timeless reading, but at the same time, this is, we are drawing from energy that's in the cosmos as we speak, and we just came into our first Mercury in retrograde, which is in the sign of Aquarius in the first Mercury in retrograde of 2021. So if exes haven't come back yet into your life, you may find in the next 3.5 weeks that they make some kind of contact. Now, again, it will be very clear in which the way in which they're coming in, whether it's clear on their part or whether it's clear on your part. We're certainly not saying go back. If anything, you're at that point where you're no longer going back. You've done that work. You've stitched it all up. You understand how this had to happen for this had to happen. And from there, you've been able to shed absolutely everything that no longer serves you. So you are ready for a new level of relationship. You are ready to really step up and step into a new version of what it is that you've settled for before. So there's been, in some of your relationships before, there's been a little bit of animosity, or there's been a little bit of fighting insofar as you've had this habit of dumbing yourself down to sort of meet the other person. Now, there's not to say that you're better than anyone else, or that's not what we're saying, but you have done what it is that you've done to sort of hide your best features. In order to be sort of accepted, or to be in relationships before. And there's not intrinsically anything wrong with that, because the way in which you work is you have this beautiful soul and you're absolutely attracted to people's energies. And even though you understand that that energy, at the end of the day, when it's integrated with yours, it might go in a certain way. And there may not be what we call, quote unquote, a lot of hope for the relationship, but you fall in love a little bit with the idea of love, but you also fall in love with energy. You love the experience of energy. It's actually a really beautiful trait. Now, you will not lose that trait. You have that trait, but you're taking that trait to the next level now and integrating that into people who really are worthy of you. Not that the people before weren't worthy of you, but you definitely had to dumb yourself down in order for you guys to be together. Now, in some relationships, it may have seemed like there were aspects or parts of you that were completely shut down in order for you to be in that relationship. And that was quite uncomfortable for you. Again, you learned a lot from all of those messages and all of those situations, but you no longer need to learn from those situations anymore. So there will not be any animosity or fighting or a sort of ego. You didn't really come in at it personally from your ego, but you were in a lot of relationships where the other person had a high ego. They had to rely on the ego. Now we've all done that, but when you move off in a certain direction, you see the ego for what it is. It's not like you'll never be at the mercy of it, but you can work around it. You're aware of it. A lot of these people that you were in and around, that you gave your, not exactly heart to, but you certainly gave your time to, they were not aware of that yet, and they were working and activated very much from the ego sense. So they were triggered very easily. And instead of having that triggering going on all the time, you dumb down certain parts of yourself so you didn't trigger. And this is something that you've been used to doing, dumbing yourself down so you don't upset people, you don't trigger people. But this is all shifted and changed. It's changed in a really dramatic form, because as you've shed, as you've shed what no longer serves, what you're left with is this mysticism and this beauty. This has been coming up a few in recent readings. When we have this sort of innate, sort of magical presence, that can be intimidating to some people. So sometimes we dumb it down because people can't explain it. But as you've been working through a lot of what you've been working through, certainly in the last couple of months, but we'd say in the last 18 months to 3 years, of shedding what no longer serves you and not putting up with these relationships that are just not at your level. And we can say that without being rude, not at your level. You've usually dumbed yourself down. And part of that is because, maybe you wanted to save the other person. But again, it was really because you absolutely loved the energy of a certain person and you saw the potential in them. Now, ironically enough, that potential was seen by a lot of the people that you were with, but it may not have been acted upon while you two were together. You've often been a catalyst and a source of activation for people and even situations in people's lives. You may have seen that as you look back. Now what you're doing is you're pulling that energy back and you're activating your own life, and you're realizing that you really can achieve what it is that you want. So most of you have a really clear idea in some ways of who it is that you're looking for. And for the most part, that person is out there for you. Now, they won't look and feel exactly like the person in your head per se, but they will be very, very, very close. The universe is working very, very closely to bring in that significant other. So for those of you who are singles, we mentioned this 2021 really is a time for a lot of these beautiful energies to come together. And for you, it's about really understanding and working with the universe and saying, I'm absolutely ready and I'm not settling for anything less. So even like, it sounds like a little bit silly, but even a ceremony, an inviting in of that person, if you haven't met them yet, they're definitely on the cards. And when they do come in, they're very vivacious. They like to laugh. They have a great sense of humor. There's a real beauty to them. They could be very well traveled, or they could be the exact opposite. They may come from quite a small town, but they're way too small for that town, and they're ready to travel the world. Now, whenever you listen to this reading, of course, it is timeless, as we said before, but we are in the middle of a few things going on globally, so travel is there. Travel is definitely there in your future. So it will be coming up, even if it's not in the next month or two or this, that, and the other. It's coming in. But whoever this person is, they're either well-traveled or they're very interested in different cultures. And that's, of course, one of the intrinsic reasons why we grow, because we are open to other people's cultures and respectful of them. And we learn a lot about ourselves when we learn a lot from others in other cultures. And this is something that you're extremely interested in. Now, you may have a traveler's bug within your heart, but you also have been heavy in the last couple of years, or maybe in the last 10 years, where you've traveled, but you've not traveled as much as you've wanted to do, because the universe asks for you to stay in one place, or you can keep moving wherever it is that you are, keep changing jobs, and you're not the type to settle. but you may not have done as much traveling as you really desire to do. And that's because there was a lot of work for you to get through. There's a lot of things for you to go through. And of course, when you're traveling, you're constantly gathering new information and integrating it, which is absolutely wonderful. But what the universe wanted you to do is to release the old, which takes so much time and energy. So you're at a new plateau where you're ready to really get back into that heart of heart, that gold heart that you have of traveling, traveling, traveling. Now, um, so the reason why we're bringing this up is because the person in which you will be in and around may not be from the country that you are from, or you may have met and sort of have a long distance thing. They're either very interested in other cultures or are from a completely different culture, but is fascinated with your culture and vice versa. Now, even though you haven't really traveled as much as you wanted to, and we're not talking about 2020, we're talking about prior to that too. Um, because it's obvious not everybody has been traveling quite as much as they want to do in the last year. This has been an ongoing thing. You've definitely been reading a lot about other cultures in one way or another, or other types of magic, or something that takes you out just of your own small individual world. And that's something that you do. So the person that is in and around you, the energy that's coming in and around you, is very open-minded, gorgeously open-minded, absolutely. And really free and open. And this is something that's going to be brand new for you. The people that you were with before were not really that open. They needed to feel protected. And you were attracted to them because you like to feel safe too. But they took it to the next level. This person is going to be really open. Adventures. That's what it is. Like every day will be a new adventure. Now, for those of you who are already in a relationship, you'll definitely be taking it to the next level. There's a few different ways. For some of you who are trying to figure out whether this relationship is working for you, sit with your intuition. There are some of you who are clearing out the old, and that does mean a relationship that is no longer working. It also these are love relationships, specifically sort of partnerships, but also with taking its toll, sort of relationships that take their toll, where you've given a lot of energy to and you don't feel as though you're giving back. You're doing a massive clear out. So this could be friendships. It also could be love relationships that just aren't really working for you anymore in the way that you would have liked. So for some of you, but this is not going to be a dramatic breakup. This is just going to be we both know this. But either way, you're coming to this point of freedom, and this opening up for this new relationship to come in. Let's see what else we have. And again, this relationship will be wonderful. And also, when this relationship comes in, it will definitely feel very different. Let's say the other relationships you had were copper, and this relationship will feel like gold. You will feel as though you have a connection with them pretty much straight away. As we said, with your personality, most people intrigue you anyway, but this is a new level of being intrigued again. And play with that mystery sense of self, that beautiful sense that you have, that you didn't always get to play with in other relationships. Have fun with this. This is going to be brand new. A lot of you can feel this energy in and around you, even if they're not physically there yet. You can do meditations. Some of you have even dreamt about them, or at least their energy. You may not have dreamt about their face and what they physically look like. You may have, but even if you haven't, it's the energy of them that will feel very familiar. So when that energy is in and around you, you will feel it. You will know. You will know that energy. And you will be, you'll know each other, but you'll also be taking it slowly. It'll be really, really fun. New level here, leveling up. So what do we have here? Make mistakes. Absolutely. Let's do one more. Number 19, sense of completion, really going back like we said before. Clear the vessel. Okay, so this is something that you're already doing. As you go back, we said at the beginning to reiterate, as you go back, you're looking at your life in very specific ways, like that thread, that beautiful thread that you had, why you're with that person, why that person reminded you of the next person that you were with, and this, that, and the other. There were many, many levels of why you were with that person and what it is that you needed to learn. And whether or not, sorry if you can hear that in the background, one of my cats is absolutely obsessed with making her new home on our recycling, and I don't have the heart to tell her that, you know, it's going to go out soon. So that's her doing her thing. So just go, you learn so much from all of those situations. They may have been quite painful for you one way or another. And you may have felt as though you lost your way sometimes or kept repeating things, but actually you didn't. You learned a hell of a lot more in those relationships than maybe the people that you were with, because you were willing to take that information to integrate it and move forward. So it really is a matter for you to look back and realize that, you know, don't be hard on yourself. You learned so much from these relationships. But to clear them now, you'll come to a new plateau where you're no longer sort of a little bit head shy or a little bit nervous about going in because you don't know who you're going to attract. Is it going to be the same sort of energy? I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this. This is a brand new legacy for you. And again, play with that mysticism. A lot of you have that sort of fairy elemental energy, that sort of cheeky energy. For those of you who are ready for love, but you're not ready for the one yet, that's totally fine. There's lots of ways of flirting and having fun. February will bring in some flirty, fun situations for you to be in and around for you to really get into investing in that energy again. A lot of you have been out of the game a little bit one way or another because you've seen it as a game. Now you're bringing it and you're like, game on, let's do this. So get out there and be as fun as you want, and let that mysterious beauty sort of drive you forward. And in that, you will create the space where the person that you're meant to be with, excuse me, will be attracted to you, even from across the seas. The way in which you meet them could be quite strange, a little bit odd, a little bit unexpected, but it'll make for a great story. It's going to be an interesting story, how you meet them. So, and also your guides are definitely working in and around to bring the two of you together. So yeah, they're making mistakes here. One of them is off the cliff, but they're being held. Whatever it is that you felt like you were doing before, it was for a reason. Now, all of that is coming to sort of an accumulation fashion where you can see it all together and oh, that's why I did that. That's why I was with that person. And some of you may even be looking back, oh, I wonder what they're up to. Not to the point where you need to reach out to them. And again, for those of you who are coming into where some exes show up one way or another, or just reach out, again, not looking necessarily to reconnect in that way, but it could be an opportunity for you to really put that sort of lid on the box and have that realization, and be able to move off in a brand new direction. But this is really beautiful and positive. And the person that's coming in for you, now it could be February, but I'm getting March or May. Let's see what we have here. We had to have the Enchanted Unicorn Oracle. So there's several different attitudes coming in, but being flirty and fun, being very clear about what it is that you want and who it is that you want, which feels as though for most of you, you've already had that, but knowing that you're ready and you're worthy. A lot of these people before, not even just a lot of people that you were in and around, took so much of your energy. You didn't have time. Some of you have equated being in a relationship with taking up too much of your time. I don't want to do this. I prefer to be on my own. For most of you, you absolutely know how to be on your own. You know, you have that loner energy. It's absolutely beautiful. Like you really understand. You've cultivated that. Some of you may have cultivated it from children, always been that way, but you know how to be alone. But we're asking you to open up. It is your time. And if you've resonated with this pile, you know it's your time. You can feel it. You can feel that flirtiness come back. You can feel as though whatever you get into now, whatever situation you get into, love situation, will not mirror your past. So enjoy the flirtiness of it, whether somebody's in your life or not. Break through your routine. Yes, break your routine. We've got this. Oh my goodness. And look what we have here. We have love, sex, and magic. We've got sex magic. So a lot of you are going to be meeting this person coming in Now, some of you will be meeting this person coming in, but you won't be able to be with them right away. So this could already have happened. Maybe it's they're stuck where they are, or it's a long distance thing. Again, with everything that's going on in the world, that's perfectly understandable. And some of what's going on in the world may be playing out in this situation, but it's a little bit more complicated than that. But again, there is some kind of relationship that is starting up for you in February. Probably with somebody else coming in, somebody brand new, or it's the relationship with yourself getting ready to go out there and do that. Now, a switch in your perspective really allows in the energy of somebody coming in that's brand new. So don't downplay it. This idea of, oh, it's just me flipping the switch and saying that I'm ready. It doesn't necessarily mean somebody will come in. It does, because you're ready for it. You know what you're worthy of, and you're not going to settle for anything less. But there's definitely some kind of activation on many different levels as we come in. So as this is a timeless reading, we're going to say it'll be in February 2021, but whenever you click on this, it'll be right after this reading. This is the energy that you're already in. So let's do fairy energy to come in. So sex magic also, this is you absolutely could do sex magic to bring this person in. It's really about, we talked about your mysteriousness and elevating that and really coming to terms with that and allowing that out in the way that you want without having to dumb yourself down. We talked about that, this energy bringing in other people. It's going to be really, really fun. So yeah, that is your sex magic. You are very attractive one way or another because you know who you are. So flirt with it, have fun with it in February, and cast out that net and see who gets caught in it and enjoy every moment of it. Absolutely. Do you have kindness? Discipline. So these are the traits of your significant other. Challenge. I love that. It's also reversed. Not a challenge. We said the person that's coming in is not going to be a challenge. It's not going to be mirrored. This is a brand new beginning. We're going to get this beautiful card here. I love these two cards. The World, remember, brand new, expansiveness, kindness, and discipline. I don't want to cover up her face. That feels rude. Kindness and discipline. This is a person that's focused. This is a person that's extremely kind. This is a person that's capable of taking feedback and integrating. This is a person that's capable of true growth and growing with somebody. This is a person that's ready for a leveling up kind of relationship. This is a person who will not be a challenge, will not be triggered, who will work with and meet you halfway, be able to work with criticism. This is a person who really knows who they are. This is the person that's done their work too. So no matter where February takes you, beautiful pile one, have fun. Whether you're really enticing people with your beautiful magic and glory there, and your flirty magnificent self, or you're cutting the ties and letting go of what no longer serves you after you've looked back over your life and said, all right, I know what I've done and I don't regret it. I let it all go, but my future, my present, my future will no longer mirror that. And whether old relationships or old partners come in and about, and you're actually physically able to sort of cut the cords or make some kind of peace in that way, that's wonderful. Or if your person is absolutely coming in, your new person coming in, or if you're letting go of any relationships that are no longer serving you, and it could be a love relationship. If these relationships are heading out, it really does mean that, you're literally just saying it, but honestly, at the end of the day, it needed to be said. So energy is coming in. At what level you're going to be at is very much up to you. And it's really exciting too, because this new energy coming in is a newfound sense of adventure, of the cultures, beauty, expansiveness. And this is something that you absolutely have within your heart. This is something that you absolutely live for, whether it's been integrated into your life recently or not. So this is an exciting time for you right after this reading, Pile One. It's also going to be a very exciting February for you, one way or another. Clearing out brand new. So again, remind yourself, do not settle. As you put out that energy and people are getting intrigued, do not settle. You know, it's okay to have a couple of bows going on for a little bit of a while. You don't have to, remember, this person you don't have to settle down right away. This person that comes in that will feel right to you, you already know that energy. Some of you have sensed them or have already dreamed about them. So it's going to be really easy for you to understand that person click. It's just going to click into place versus the people that you just want to have fun with. But until that person comes along, go out and have some fun. So that's what we have for you, Pile One. We certainly hope it resonates. If it does, do let us know with a thumbs up. Let us know in the comments below. And of course, hit that subscribe button and that bell button, so you'll always be part of the Unicorn Light Tarot family. We've got some gorgeous readings coming up in the month of February. We're checking in with the goddess Guinevere, Lady Guinevere, later on in the month. And we also have the Unicorn School of Light. There are some beautiful ways for you to take some courses there. And we also have other things going on within Unicorn Light Tarot. So you never want to miss those Unicorn Therapy series. And of course, working with your intuition and the Oracle cards. Really, really fun stuff. Come join us on our Facebook page too. Lots of ways to stay in and around this energy and feel supported. Enjoy this month of February. Enjoy these weeks and months coming in after this reading of this new bright love beauty that's going to be in and around you. Absolutely deserve it. You've worked really hard for it, and you deserve to be treated like a princess, queen, and any way that you want. Princess, queen, king, prince, anything that you want. As long as it's elevated, make sure that everybody in and around you treats you that way, because that's absolutely what you deserve. All right, my darlings, until we meet again, Pile One, take care. Bye-bye. Okay, Pile Two, if you picked the pile that was in the middle of our beautiful Tree of Life here on the trunk, this is your True Heart's Valentine's reading. We will start off with your True Heart Intuitive Tarot and take it from there. See what we have. The King of Wands. Wonderful. Judgment. And the Devil. All right. Well, Pile Two. You know, there's a sense of the same sort of thing going on for you, similarly to Pile One, but there's very different energy. You are absolutely done, Pile Two. You're done. It's over. You're ready for that new beginning, but you know, you painstakingly one way or another gone through it, but you're at the point where you're ready to sever. You're ready to cut those cords. There's a newness energy to you that's really exciting. It's very invigorating, but you're not taking any crap anymore. And you're definitely not willing to settle for anything or anyone. You would rather be alone than be around anybody else that's going to take you for granted, and you've had that. You have a very soft, romantic heart, and some of that, for some of you, you have definitely felt as though you've needed to protect that over the years. And some of you, you've had to move some old stuff out of the way in order to be able to get back into that beautiful heart, that beautiful romanticism that you have. It's almost like in the past, if you've let out too much of that romanticism, you snooze, you lose. People took advantage, or it didn't go in your favor one way or another. It's just because the people that you were in and around maybe didn't appreciate it the way that others will. But either way, we're not going to focus on the past too much because you are absolutely ready. This is a very masculine energy of absolutely ready to move forward. This is fire, passionate energy. I am done. I am ready for doing this on my own terms. You've spent a good portion of your life one way or another. And this is across all aspects of your life. But of course, we are on the way in which you've used or given away your heart. It's been on other people's terms, sometimes, a lot of the time for most of you. And it's really about like getting your heart broken because the level of investment was just at a different sort of way. Yours was a lot higher than others. That's all they could have given at that time, and that's totally fine. But it's really about where you place your energy now. For some of you, and we're just going to say this, it's real talk, pal, too. You weren't always that discerning with where you put your energy and your heart. Insofar as you have this very much in common with pal one, is that everybody deserves your time and energy and beauty. And that just isn't so. It really isn't. Now, people that you clicked with, of course. Now, for people who were in and around you, and there was no clicking, you didn't just willy nilly give your energy. But for people who you did click with, but there was no sort of, again, there was no real sort of initiation. There was no real working with the other person insofar as like I can definitely feel Mercury in retrograde right now. My slipping over all over trying to get words out here, which often happens in channeling anyway, but particularly around this time. But you know, the people that you clicked with in and around, they were at a different level of investment than you were. And you were always willing to give as much as you could. And, for some of you, you didn't really expect that much back. And that was maybe your first thing that you needed to look at. The amount, it's not, I give away my energy and, I expect X, Y, and Z back. You understand that, when you give something away, you give it back and you give it away, the universe will enact that beauty and bring it back in different kind of magical ways sometimes. But investing a certain amount of time and energy and love existence in another person that gives you nothing, that's not what we're talking about. That's not what we wanted you to do. Now you've done that, and that was part of how you figured out what you wanted. But you're absolutely resolute now, like literally not taking any crap. I know who I am. I'm not even touching that person. That person's got their own demons. They can go figure it out. You're definitely the person who doesn't judge. So people really came to you in many ways because you were a safe space. And that's fine. But they weren't able ever, very, very rarely, but mainly ever, be able to provide that safe space for you. You've often put yourself in situations that weren't safe spaces. Now, you've been fine. You have a lot of protection. You have a lot of glorious protection from the universe. You have some very, very strong ancestors, too. And a lot of them are like, oh my goodness, come on. So they're just as fiery, and your guides are very powerful. So you've had a lot of protection. For many of you, as you've looked back on your past and certain situations that you've been through, you're like, I can't believe that I came through that unscathed. I just cannot believe I can. The people that you put yourself around. Now, that sense of adventure has always been integrated within you. That's never going to stop. I'm not asking for any of that to stop. But who you give your energy to, and where you go with that energy now really defines the next couple of months for you. Again, you're very passionate. You know who you are. You're taking less than nothing. And what you're able to do for the first time in your life. Now, for many of you, let's see if this resonates because it could be really interesting. This is what I'm picking up for pretty much not every single one of you, but a lot of you. It's that you have this great resolve. When you've decided on something, that's it. You can be even quite stubborn about it, which is absolutely wonderful. But you also weigh things up so much that you weigh up everybody's points of view, everything that could, and you overextend your mind. So it goes over and over and over and over. And you can confuse yourself and talk yourself out of things. You can talk yourself out of people. Sometimes you second guess yourself a lot. There can be a little bit of doubt. It causes you to choose maybe the wrong circumstances or the wrong people that's been in and around you, or the other side of that is to settle for situations that you deserve better, but because your mind is so active with having everything come in, all this information come in, it makes it very difficult for you to choose one way or another. And sometimes the universe has stepped in and chosen for you. But this is all shifting and this is all changing. The way in which you see the world is absolutely beautiful. You do take in everybody else's points of view. You have done that in the past. And that's the openness, gorgeousness of you. Now, that openness and gorgeousness of you, part of you, is never going to change. It's integrated in a new way now. You're not taking in other people's opinions anymore. You're listening to your own intuition. You're almost shutting it down in the form of boundaries, profound boundaries. All right. And what you're able to do is you're able to really focus on what it is that you want and accept nothing less. Whereas before, you focused on what you wanted. But if something else came up, maybe I'm supposed to go in this direction, maybe I'm supposed to go in that direction. And then you sort of go off in several different directions. And the thing or the person or the situation that you really wanted gets diluted because you're not 100% or 150% focused on that one outcome. And of course, when we manifest, we have to be absolutely focused on that one outcome. Now, it may look completely different. And at the same time, we need to surrender into that outcome, which sounds like a bit of a paradox, but we need to know what that looks like. Or at least know what it feels like. And again, when it's delivered, it might be slightly different, but it will have the same effect, if not a better effect, because the universe gets to choose and say, all right, this is what they want. That's great, but we're going to tweak it a little bit because we know inside their soul, we actually know that this is what they want. This is going to be better for them. So the way in which you work in the world, your self-reliance that you've had, that's been at an all-time high your entire life, you're able to actually choose now, right? So your energy is working very differently. It's passionate. It's on fire. This is what I want. I'm not accepting anything less. You're in a position to really navigate with the universe and say, all right, now there's an element of surrender in there. Absolutely. You do understand that you're working with the universe. You absolutely do. And even though it may come across as being quite stubborn, you're not being stuck in your ways. In the past, ironically enough, you were quite stuck in your ways and at times quite inflexible. But at the same time, you were so flexible, you let everything and everyone in, if that makes sense. So you weren't always moving forward in the way that you want. As we've said before on this channel, it's like 6 steps backwards, 4 steps forwards, 4 steps forwards, 3 steps backwards. It was like kind of this dance that you were playing with the universe. And, when you made a decision, you really wanted something, you absolutely did it. But, buying a book, I'm attracted to that book, I'm going to buy that book. It worked in really small ways. But when it came to bigger things, making decisions and things like that, you knew what your heart wanted. But maybe for some of you, you weren't ready to go for it, or there were many different reasons why you weren't resolute. About what you wanted, or if you were very resolute about what you wanted, very clear about what you wanted, you didn't always go in the direction of getting it because you let all these other variables come in. And that's because you are open and you want to stay open to everything that can happen. You're extremely open. You're too open. So this is kind of it's not a narrowing down in any way, shape, or form of your personality. What it is, it's this real power that comes in behind you that allows you to really communicate with the universe in very specific ways to get you where you want to go quicker. So in all aspects of your life, this newfound passion, I'm not settling, this is what I want. I'm not letting anything or anyone get in the way of this. I am ready. In that, you're able to move forward in droves really, really quickly and pull in. Now, some of you have had a thread of what you wanted this entire time. You really have. You may not exactly have known exactly what it looks like, but you know what it's going to feel like and you know which direction to go in. So this is for you. A lot of you are moving out of seeing patterns of not necessarily addiction in yourself. You've moved through those, but seeing that as an addiction. Now, when we say an addiction, there's a specific form of addiction that we're talking about in this particular reading. The addiction to the ego, the addiction to needing to be right. There's That's the specific kind of addiction that we're in and around in this reading. This is an addiction that you no longer want to be in and around, and this is an addiction that for people or situations you are no longer catering to. You are no longer catering your energy, your behavior to any of this anymore. It's not that you desire to be liked by absolutely everybody. That would be lovely, but you have such a soft, beautiful soul, and you've not always been understood. So it's always nice when people understand you. But you in the past, you've tended to go out of your way to at least make the effort so people can see who you are. It's not always gone to plan. But now you're cutting that down. Again, it's boundaries. I'm no longer catering to this. I'm no longer doing any of this. And when you look back on the situations and even the people that you've chosen to be intimate with in your life, whether they're intimate friendships or more romantic relationships, there was an era or an energy that you went through with this connection to the ego, with this connection of needing to be right, with this real forcefulness of this is who I am. You will absolutely take me the way that I am, but that with that real inflexibility of not listening to anyone or not taking on anybody else's like personality or points of view, not being open at all. Now, this is not who you are. You may have been attracted to that energy or been in and around that energy because the universe wanted you to see that strength, to be able to have that strength, to be able to say, I'm done, I've got my boundaries, I don't need to do that. But remain in the openness that you have to be able to take in other points of view, to be able to change your point of view whenever that, to continue to expand and grow, which is something that these circumstances or these people were not able to do, particularly at that time. Whether they are or not is really inconsequential. You don't need to worry about that. Not your problem, right? So cutting it down, putting up those boundaries and saying, you know, I'm not making the effort anymore. F you. This is who I am. This is what I'm doing. It's real power. It's real passion. And it's putting that power and that passion intertwined and really setting down that law on your life. But at the same time, remaining open, remaining expansive, and having that sort of dichotomy of that true balance that, again, the others did not have. So there was a reason why you might have been attracted to them. And also the other thing, attracted to the other people, this could have been really exhausting for you. Nothing was ever their fault. They didn't take any responsibility. Nothing was ever their fault. It was always the external. Something else is going on. Projection, projection, projection. So, you know, even though you were attracted to personalities like that because the universe wanted you to mirror that strength, the sort of the closed-minded aspect of it is nothing that you would ever succumb to. So now you've measured up equally and integrated those two connective points. You're ready to take off in brand new ways. Now, your heart is open in a brand new way to attract whoever it is that you want. And again, whoever it is you want is very specific. You are absolutely, repeat, not going to dumb yourself down in any way, shape, or form. Now, as you open up this energy, you will find that you're almost magnetic. A lot of people are going to be interested in this energy because it's really strong and beautiful. And you have those boundaries. So as you start working with this energy, for most of you, you've already come into this energy. I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not playing the game. I'm playing my game. I'm doing it my own way. I don't need to give my energy or put my energy or power there anymore. And you're calling your power back. As you move out and integrate this new way of working into the world, it's going to be a little bit different for you. It's going to be very powerful, but you're also going to have that magnetic kind of drawing in of some people who may not be that great for you initially. As you work with this energy, stay in it, pal 2. Stay in your energy. Don't go off track. Have fun with it. Have flirting, like we said in pal 1. Have your flirty. Do whatever you want to do. But stay on your throne, stay in your power, and see if you give people enough rope, they hang themselves really quickly. Give people the room to show you who they are, and they will very quickly. You're very sensitive, you're very intuitive. um, so don't jump into anything. There will be some offers coming in, and as you learn to sort of wield this energy, which comes with a lot of responsibility and a lot of power, which of course you know how to wield perfectly because you've gone through it all and you've seen the other side of it and been on the other side of being treated quite badly by somebody who was kind of egotistical, or again, always looking for the external to blame, not taking any responsibility for their own life, and therefore going in these circles and circles and circles, not being expansive at all, and at worst becoming quite bitter one way or another. So for you, it's about, you know, melding that, coming back together again. So as new people start coming in and around you, just allow them to be as they are, but don't jump into anything. Have some fun at the beginning, because you're going to be drawing in a lot of different kinds of people who are attracted to this energy. And it's not, people will want to work with you, people will want to have relationships with you. There will be, this is going to draw in, like we said, lots of different people. So just sort of sit back on your throne, don't give away your power, let people be who they are, and sit with your intuition and see which path you want to go down with each person. There's no need to jump into any kind of energy if you are single and you're still working with this energy going in and around. Take your time. There is somebody out there for you, absolutely. But take your time. I want you to work with this energy and learn to wield it, because this is energy that, as we said, it's going to be integrated into every aspect of your life. Your work life, home life, love life, all of this is going to be, you know, each portion or each aspect of your life is going to be severely uplifted in this absolutely gorgeous way. And as they're uplifted, you want that melding, that beautiful melding of all aspects of your life to come together. That's going to take a little while. So just have fun at this point. Have fun. Let's see what we have. Again, what? Be fluid. Absolutely, be fluid. Allow this energy to come in. Allow it to move forward. Just let it be sort of a really fun observation exercise for you. Now, you know, for those of you who are sitting there and saying, "Oh, this doesn't sound that fun," you know, it's actually an expression of who you are. You can make it fun. There's lots of love and great, beautiful situations and fun for you to have. Don't think that this is not a dynamic period for you. It absolutely is. Use it the way that you want. You know, learn to wield your power. It's working for you in different ways. So take your time to see how it wields. Now, for those of you who are already connected to somebody, who are already in a relationship, you're still at that point where you're like, I'm absolutely done. Not necessarily with them, but with other parts of your life. I'm absolutely done. I know exactly what I want. This is a new beginning for you guys to come together, to be able to work together to achieve what it is that you want. You might even be working with your significant other specifically on projects, or moving in a very similar direction that keeps you both grounded and keeps you both resonant in what it is that you want to do. So this is definitely a new sense of connection, a new sense of passion that's coming into your relationship, if you already have one. And that fluidity, again, of surrendering, observing, but at the same time being very clear on what you don't want and standing your ground, is absolutely going to shake up in a really good way the relationship that you have. So let's see what else we have too. Consciously complete. Absolutely. Look at this. Allowing in all of that energy to consciously complete. This is something that you've already done. So I'm actually going to pick one more, because you've gotten to that absolute moment of, let's move these, that absolute moment of, I'm done. That was your conscious completion. I'm done. So even if this is resonating with you, Paul too, but you're still at the point where you're coming into that it's building, it's building, it's building. I'm getting to the point where I'm gonna cut things, I'm gonna draw the line, I'm gonna put down my foot. You're getting to the point of consciously completing. So allow in that energy and that steadfastness with also being open, and having this. I also got for some of you in a relationship already moving into that new, there's a birthing for some of you too. That could be either getting pregnant or birthing a child. The other side of that with birthing also can mean absolutely of a new it would be a business type situation, taking that to a prominent level or starting off that business, or taking it from a significant level of, all right, this is where I am now. This is where I want to be, taking it really seriously. That's that for you. So if you're coming into this, all right, I'm there, it's building, and you've got that anger, but that anger is going to turn into passion. You're going to come into this conscious completing. Most of you, though, have already come to the conscious completing part of this reading, and you're in that. All right, this foundation, this plateau, what do we do with this energy? It's really very exciting. It's the energy, you know what the energy reminds me of? The Adams family, Morticia Adams, like very open but resolute, knows who she is, doesn't really take any other energy. They kind of live in their own world in a way, but at the same time, they're, you know, not precious about stuff, but caring in their own way. That's exactly the energy. I just got this kind of lift from Morticia Adams there. So take that as you will. Adorn the temple, absolutely. And that is you. The temple is you. You are ready to put your energy first. Again, you are ready to say, I'm not putting up with that. This is for me. This is energy that I'm taking into all aspects and definitely into my true heart and attracting what it is that I want and who it is that I want. Again, allow yourself that fluidity of just moving forward. We're going to do Enchanted Unicorn Oracle. So I'm going to be doing this on camera while we're talking about adoring the temple. So allow yourself, take some time to really do that fitness, get back to who you are, really appreciate how beautiful you are, not in a narcissistic way. You're not like that at all. But for some of you, you might feel a little like that because you're not used to at all being like this for yourself. It's not that you're not healthy. It's not that you don't make good choices for your body, anything like that. But you don't really go to the level of adorning yourself. You'll do that for other people, though. You know, make them up a quick little gift basket or this, that, and the other. A lot of you are like that. But asking you to get back to you, adorn yourself, really like focus in the mirror on your beauty and your love. And that's the next stage of putting your foot down. I'm not accepting that. And the reason why I'm not accepting any of this energy anymore and any of this bad behavior, just to be clear, it's because I'm worthy of more and I don't need to do this. So, you know, treat yourself and really understand from the inside out why you're worthy of it, and get back to being you. Absolutely gorgeousness. All right, let's pick a card from here. Love without judgment, and you have judgment there. That's so funny that that happened, because it really is a case of the people that the strength that you were attracted to before, they loved with judgment. You have that strength. You've been able to really bring that strength to you. You have that power and strength, but you love without judgment. So you have the real power. They have a facade of the real power, but you've come through on the other side and have that real power. How will you wield it in your love life, Paul, too? Because honestly, you can go in any direction, do whatever you want. As we've said, if you're already in a relationship, then it's going to be brought up to new heights, not just of passion, but particularly work is either birthing a new business idea, taking it to another level, or a child. But for a lot of you, it will be business. And having that real sort of passion and that really firm foundation in your already good relationship, moving that forward and being able to sort of the power couple thing, right? You know, Morticia Adams and her fella, I've forgotten his name. Anyway, So absolutely coming into that, enjoy that energy, adorn the temple, adorn you, understand who you are on that level. And this is how you treated me before. I'm going to treat myself the way I should have always have treated myself, because I am brilliant. I am perfect exactly as I am. And then people and situations will automatically change very, very quickly in and around you. But go with that fluidity at the beginning, and allow yourself that time to make those decisions. It's a very exciting, adventurous, passionate time for you, though, Paul, too, moving in any direction. Different suitors coming in, very much up to you. If you don't want to give your heart away just yet, that's fine. You're coming into this new energy. Play with it if you're single. Play with it anyway, but play with it, with various different suitors if you're single, or if you're with somebody and you have an agreement, go do whatever you want to do. There's no one way to do things. Joy reversed. And we have one more here too. These are our fairy cards. Open-hearted. This is what the joy and the open-heartedness in reverse, this is what the energy was in and around you before. Now you can turn that up. This is what you have now. Open-hearted and joy. You absolutely have that coming in. And with that open-heartedness and that joy and that fluidity, take your time again to see where you're going to go, who's coming to you, measure up that energy, and keep very resolute about what you're going to put up with and what you're not. You can remain open-hearted and non-judgment. You don't have to be like, I don't need to be in and around you. It's just a matter of this passion coursing through your veins and how you're going to wield it. So take your time with this and have a lot of fun with this beautiful new beginning and adventure that you have. You've been working a really long time to build this sort of foundation, and this balance to be in this position to go in any direction that you want, without anybody holding you back. Of course, the only person that ever really held you back is yourself, but you also put yourself in and around people where people were holding you back too. All gone. This is an exciting time for you. So that's what we have for you, Pal 2. If it resonated, do feel free to give us a thumbs up. Let us know in the comments below. Would love to hear from you. And of course, hit that subscribe and bell button for Unicorn Light Tarot if you haven't already. We have lots of beautiful things going on. We also have the Unicorn Therapy for activation and meditations. We also have working with your intuition and the oracle. And of course, we have the Unicorn School of Light. All the links are down below. Lots of different ways to stay in touch, and be in and around energy for support, activation, and whatever it is that you need whenever you click on a video or a course. All right, my darlings, sending so much love and light to you. Enjoy this time in your life. You have earned it. It's gorgeous. It's this new taking off in any way that you want to. So until we meet again, stay safe and sane. Bye-bye. Okay, my lovelies, if you chose Pile 3, last but certainly not least, do not forget we have our healing candle. And of course, we are getting you messages. True Hearts Valentine reading. We're leaving it up to the universe and spirit, seeing what energy comes up and what messages come up for you. So we are working with the True Heart Intuitive Tarot initially, and then we will be moving on to some other oracles to clarify and move through or move on your messages. So let's see what you have. Ooh, Ace of Wands, a lot of Phoenix energy coming up recently in other readings if you've been with me for a while. Gorgeous there. The Hermit. Interesting. And the Tower. Ooh, I just love that. Absolutely love that. So, as we always say, these are timeless readings, and there's always a difference between pile 1, 2, and 3. There's always slightly different energy, but we are channeling universal energy and the energy that's going on at the particular moment. So there's always threads, I find anyway, in my readings going through. So there's a lot in common with pile 2 here. If you feel called to, certainly go back, only if you feel called to listen to pile 2 after you've listened to this. But there's this real reckoning for you, this real beautiful energy of allowing everything to sort of fall and crumble away. Um, there's an aspect of you before that was ultra independent, needed to do things, and you were the one that you needed to rely on, pile three. So the energy of alignment was out of your grasp. It was more about control, and that's what you needed to do. You know, alignment was more for privileged people who had more time and this, that, and the other. This is what you needed to do. So when you realized things were going on, you would go off in your own space and you would work through them. Absolutely. It's not that you're not opposed to working on anything. In fact, pile three, you're absolutely always working on something. But something's happened to you recently where there was sort of a floodgate, and you were able to sort of let everything, or the you were activated in such a way. Part of it was like the 2020, what we've gone through, and there's a raise of consciousness. But part of this was instinctive. This was you. This was a part of your personality, a part of your heart that was like, all right, the energy around us is doing this. Let's hop on it and do it properly. It was your decision to do it properly and to really let go. And what you're doing is you're watching everything crumble, crumble, crumble that no longer works for you. And you're doing this behind closed doors. You're doing this in a way that you still have that power and you still have that control. But in a way that's visibly and, um, within quite different to the way that you were before. Had this had happened to you 10 years ago, you would have like properly have been like, what's going on with me? And now it's this sort of alignment of beauty and just allowing everything to sort of fall into place, which again, before for you may have seemed like a privilege, but it seems like the right time. But it takes a huge amount of courage to do what you're doing and what you've done. Now, regardless of whether this is resonating with you, and we certainly hope that it does, sure it is, but it's more about what level that you're at. If you're at that point where it's all still feeling as though it's crumbling down again, promise you, pile three, this too shall pass. But we want to remind you that you're calling in the energy of alignment and not of control. So it may feel as though it's absolutely falling apart in a way because you're not trying to control it. Whereas before, your healing was baby steps. It was incremental because you wanted to fall apart a little bit. Everything's happening together, but what's happening is gorgeous here. And the True Hearts Valentine's reading is you get to do this on your own terms. And what's left is this beautiful, powerful magic that is absolutely you, and this insane amount of passion to drive it through in the world. You absolutely want the world to be a better place. You didn't know how to make that happen before. You've really understood at a very basic level, as we all have. We always say, change comes from within. If you change yourself first, the world changes. But, unless you actually deep down know what that feels like, it just feels a little woo-woo, right? Yeah, no, we know that. We hear this all the time in the spiritual community. But what does that mean? You now know what that means. You absolutely know that your version of reality, who you are, absolutely has been molded by you, your decisions, and you're taking that power back. You're really allowing this passion that you have, which at times could have been anger, and it could have blasted out at the wrong time, but that's part of who you are, and that's part of your learning journey. So that's the way it is. And you've done your very best in every way, shape, or form to go back and rectify that situation, even if it means walking away from it. I shouldn't have behaved like that. I'm just going to walk away from it. I don't need to be a part of this anymore. I need to do something different. So you've always done the best that you can in any given circumstance. But this is a very powerful moment for you as everything crumbles away. You're left with exactly who you are, bright, spanking new, with a huge amount of power, a huge amount of passion. And not only that, but the knowledge of how to wield this power and passion to get what you want. So we're just going to say this. You don't have a manipulative quality to you. You really don't, pile three. But you also know how to work with people to get what you want. Now, there's certain times in your life and there's certain areas of your life you've done this. Now, that's the way that you are, and that's what you've done, and that's great. But the way in which you're using it now, it's you have these wiles. I think did it come up in pile one too? But there's a huge amount of power here. You really do have people eating out of the palm of your hand. Now, to a certain degree, again, you've had that your whole life. But the way in which you're wielding this power now is using it in a way to not get what you want necessarily. What you want is for the benefit of others. So to make your world a better place, to make the world a better place, you're great at researching. You actually know the best step to go and move forward. You're always kind of juggling up possibilities and seeing where they lie. Your thing in the past is about moving forward and doing it and having the confidence to move down that road. It's almost like, you'll do all this brilliant research. This is what we need. And it's absolutely cutting edge of what we need. You absolutely know you're worlds away from everybody else. Like you absolutely know what we need. And then you'll gather all of that and then you'll hand it over to somebody else and go, I think you should do this. You're the one that needs to be doing it. You're the one that needs to be doing it. And now you know. And that passion, that the desire, and that real power is coming together in this beautiful Holy Trinity, pile three. So you can go out and do whatever you want. Now, this is the True Hearts Valentine's reading. So this is going to impact every area of your life. But let's get into and the hermit phase, and it's easy to say, even though these are timeless readings, we cannot forget where we are in the world right now. Obviously, a lot of people are not as actively in the world as we once were. So it's easy to say, oh yeah, well, everybody's a hermit, but it's not. You did this. You wanted to be that hermit. You have an aspect of that anyway. The way in which you come up and see the world and the way in which you heal is to be able to come out of the world so you can make sense of who you are and what's going on. This was absolutely something that you did. This was an act of defiance in some ways, not against the world, but in spite of it. I don't need this anymore. I need to come back to me. But you use that hermit state in a very specific way. Now, the hermit's not just, I'm shutting the door, I'm done with life. The hermit is working alchemy behind that door and understanding what they need. And you've been using this time brilliantly. Absolutely brilliantly, and you've been building this momentum for getting you ready for having the courage for letting everything finally fall apart and fall away. And when it does, you are left with this incredible innate magic that you brought yourself in with, this magic that you've had for many, many past lives. Now, you've been aware of this magic. This is no brand new news to you, but again, sometimes you've used it against yourself, but you've not taken it all the way home. Like all of the research, whatever it is that you've done, you're the one that needs to be making these changes. You're the one that needs to be doing this. You're the one, instead of handing it over to somebody else or trying to set up systems where somebody else gets the credit. This is for you. So using your wiles, using that magnetic energy that you've used before, but then fell away from it because, some of you may, am I being manipulative? Am I this? Or, maybe I don't have the energy. I don't feel like I want to do that before. I don't feel that confident in my magic in my body anymore to be able to do that. Well, that's all shifting for you, pile three. The love of who you are, every scar on your body, every beauty that you have, everything that you've been through, this new level of absolutely honing in on your own magic and that uniqueness of your own magic. It's truly inspiring. And again, that anger turned into what we've got here. Look, we have that phoenix rising, but you're the one holding the wand. Before, you've been in certain catalytic situations where, it was time for you to change. Something happened and you were forced into it. You're the one pulling down the tower. You're the one making these moves. You're the one that's saying, I'm ready. You're the one that's saying, I'm going to use all of these abilities the way that I want to without an excuse, without doubting myself, without doubting how innately beautiful I am. You're not manipulative. You're just mysterious and you know how to work people, and there is nothing wrong with that. Get out there and do it. This is an exciting time for you. It's a very powerful time for you, Pile 3. Let's see what we have here. Devote, absolutely devote all of your energy on to you and only you right now. Absolutely devote to your path and what it is that you want. Instead of sort of like we said, you had the energy of researching and doing what you were doing, and then diluting the end product by trying to bring in somebody else, or outsourcing or whatever it is. In charge from the beginning, the devotion, again, there's a little bit of remnants there in pile 2. The passion is there in pile 2. Different energy, though, very different energy. In real life, whoever's pile 2 and you being pile 3, you would be besties. So again, if you feel called to go back and have a look at pile 2, go do it. But devote from the beginning. You put yourself first. You're devoting yourself, your energy, whatever it is that you want. You absolutely understand that there's nothing holding you back anymore. You're ready to do this. You're ready to move forward. So, but not just move forward. You're ready to move spherically in any way that you want and bring it all home. So yeah, we had this before, past mistakes. I want to choose another one. We already know that it's not really past mistakes with you. It's just a matter of diluting your energy. We had birth too in pile 2. So it's definitely a time of intense creativity. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean a birth of a child, although it obviously can do. For you, for most of you though, pile 3, it's the birth of not just a new you, because that's kind of obvious. It's the birth of a new way to be in the world. It's the birth of new projects. It's the birth of a new element of creativity. For those of you who have been insanely creative, it's about getting that creativity out to millions of viewers. It's about really leveling up and having that confidence and stepping into that new confidence. Now, you've always been relatively confident. I mean, confidence takes a knock here and there. It's totally understandable. But you've always been relatively confident in your own abilities one way or another. You've not been confident about bringing it to fruition. But sometimes you've gotten confused because you're not as successful as you think that you wanted to be. And in that, you've leveled your imagination, your creativity to the, I would have been successful by now if I was really that good. And that's rubbish. That's absolutely rubbish. It's the follow through. It's that lack of faith in one's creativity. That's, you've almost been there so many times and just pulled back in the last minute with your energy. This is coming into a new passionate, confident stance that takes everything that you want to its own into fruition. Everything's coming into you now. Now, there's nothing much that needs to be done with your creativity. If anything, the confidence and the energy behind it is building, absolutely. But your creativity is gorgeous already. You already know that. Devoting and giving birth and bringing your projects home, bringing them in, wielding them in. Now, your level of success, the way in which you see success and deal with success has absolutely changed. It's twisted, not twisted. It's tweaked. Your level of perception around that's already happened. You already know that what makes you happy. Yes, it's wonderful to have money where you don't have to worry about this, that, and the other. It's resourceful. It's this, that, and the other. But money is a little bit more complicated. You know that it's not going to solve everything. You've been working behind the scenes again to figure out what truly makes you happy. Absolutely, we're not going to turn down money. That's the extra bump to secure and help others. But the past mistakes, if you're looking back on that, they're not really mistakes. It's just a matter of where and how you handed over the power instead of reeling it in. So this is a huge amount of autonomy, a huge amount of self-confidence coming in all levels of your life. And this is a profound love reading for you to put yourself first and get it is what you want. Now, as you go out there and you start building these communities, there is definitely people out there for you. Now, for some of you, the idea of really settling down is kind of strange, so really go with the flow and see, be open to what's out there and who's out there. Again, play the field, be flirty, have fun. For those of you who are thinking that it's too late for you one way or another, and this has really got nothing to do with age, this again is your magnetic energy is pulling people in and around you. These situations are going to be pretty irresistible. So keep that passion and fire up. And, you know, these people will be coming in and around you when you sort of least expect it. And also who you look for now and who you choose to spend time with, of course, will have different energy to people that you were with before. So this is a very exciting time, sort of an opening up of a new chapter. So, and again, you have that sort of in common with Pal too. So just allow these energies to come in and flirt and play and have fun. So we have the Enchanted Unicorn Oracle here too. So many different directions in order to move into, but it's already about, this reading is mainly about the completion of energies that you already have there and bringing them back home. So if any of you are already in a relationship, you're either going to bring that back home and really solidify that relationship, or you're going to bring it back home and realize that you're ready to move on. But most of you are going to be securing a relationship that you're already in, or focusing your energy on the external, on your projects, and bringing them into fruition the way that you want to, with that self-confidence and that beauty. And then as you start making the connections, because you are coming out of this hermit phase, there'll be others that will be really interested to really get to know you. And, you know, there's no harm in mixing business with pleasure, Pal 3. Have some fun. Opportunities flowing in, ignite. Absolutely, that's exactly what we just said. And we're going to put it next week. You can't see it. We're going to put this over the Hermit card because you're coming out of that now. That was a very productive time for you. But the ignite and flowing in of the opportunities flowing in with that Ace of Wand and that real passionate moving forward. Absolutely. The world is your oyster. So it's almost impossible for us to sit here and try to predict, because your energy is darting off in different directions, which is great, living spherically instead of, you know, in this linear format where you just, you know, not really for you anymore. So anything can happen. Enjoy. Enjoy. Life is meant to be enjoyed. And it says here too, all souls. And we have 28 and 24 here. 15 came up there. And sign of completion too. We've got 19, but also putting them together, we've got 10. So that sign of completion. So again, coming out of the making mistakes, coming out of doing things the way that didn't really highlight you, and moving through that. Again, it comes with a lot of trust and a lot of strength, building yourself to that. If you see these two, they're dancing. He is holding, this person is holding this person who's kind of going off the cliff, but not really. And they're wearing this sort of tutu. They're ready for that creativity, but having that courage to take that leap, knowing that somebody is right there and you're absolutely ready. So this is where you are at, and that igniting of moving spherically in any direction is absolutely beautiful. And life is meant to be enjoyed. And again, those old souls, letting everybody coming in and letting them play out and see where it goes. Have fun. Play. You get to lighten up and see where, before you put so much energy into like, got to work on this and make that happen. Why isn't this happening? And this, that, and the other. This is a new level of surrendering, a new level of coming into who you are, because you're glowing and who you are. People already know that. Your energy field is resonating. So you're attracting whatever and who is you want. And there's no harm in attracting people in your life who can further your career one way or another. There's no harm in that whatsoever, because you know, people who further your career will be very interested in you in your private life too. Should you want to go there is very much up to you. Whether you want to do the business and pleasure thing, that is 150% up to you. But it will be on the table for you to do. And, you know, allow yourself that kind of movement, that fluidity that came in again with pile 2. So we've got some fairy cards here. Let's finish your reading with any other. Let's see what else our magical fairy realm has for us today. Give and receive. Absolutely. It's this balance, this foundation that you have, which can really be truly honored now that you're in your phenomenal power and self confidence. It's that give and receive. And also that feeling of knowing, sometimes people have come to you. Um, now, this happens throughout life anyway. People come to you and they're really excited, and they want to move forward on a project, and it sort of fades out. Now that absolutely happens, but this is also about putting your energy into people who have the resources to be able to do that too. Before, you could have gotten excited because people came to you and you're like, yeah, yeah, but really deep down you kind of knew they probably didn't have the resources, or this, that, and the other. This give and receive, giving your energy and receiving in equal amounts, with people who are in a position to move you forward, and you're ready to move forward, because your creativity is what the world needs. Being in and around very, very successful people who are absolutely not just talking, but have the resolve and the assets to be able to put you in a direction to really take off. But again, you're attracting that energy yourself, and you're the one through your energy that's going to take this to fruition. These people are going to be clambering over you to work with you, and there's a reason for that. You're brilliant at what you do. Stewardship, absolutely. Coming back to this understanding, that at the end of the day, you want, and in this way, hopefully everybody has this, but it came up specifically in the reading in Paul too. But again, it's not about the money. It's, yes, of course, that secures certain things and it makes life a little easier. Why wouldn't you want it? Money's a little bit more complicated. I'm actually working on a course soon with money and manifestation. It's, yeah, you can have be aligned with it and this, that, and the other, but a lot of people have a really mixed kind of attitude with money, because it is man-made, and we have to work through that and see that, and work with that on a very intimate personal basis, and get over on the other side of that hump, that hill, and then we can attract it fully. All these, the spirituality of, just hone in, release, and then it'll come. Yeah, if you don't have any hang-ups about money, then yeah, it'll come. You got to clear those hang-ups first, and most of us have them. So you understand all of that. You've been working with that understanding, that foundation of money, what it will bring you, how happy or not happy it will make you. And really, at the end of the day, you're here to make the world a better place. That's really, now you also know that the success of that is based on how you can put your energy out there, how you can help the world with your creativity, and bring in money also to help others. So this is something that you've been coming into and working with also. So you really know that, your ego is out of this. You're out there really at the end of the day to make the world a better place, and you know how to do that. You know how to make, what people need. Again, you're on the cutting edge, whether it's creative ideas or creative ideas that are implemented in a very specific educational way. You could reform education. There's so many different things that you can do. This is your timeline. This is your way of doing that. You just had to come into your own power, and that's what you did. So this is very exciting time for you. It is a true hearts reading insofar as anything is accessible for you now. So play the field and do whatever it is that you want to do. But this reading was mainly about your power and your heart center. So we hope that this resonated with you, Paul 3. If it did, do feel free to give us a thumbs up and let us know in the comments below. And of course, subscribe and hit that bell icon for Unicorn Light Travel. Unicorn Lake Tarot. It's my Freudian slip out there. Travel. There's so many reasons why. We've got some great readings coming up in the month of February. We are going to be checking in with Guinevere very soon and channeling that energy, wonderful energy. And we also have the unicorn therapy that is free and you can take for activation and extra healing. We also have intuition and the oracle. Links are down below if you want to take that. That's totally free also on this channel. And we have the Unicorn School of Light. Check that out. Also, lots of different things going on, different ways to be in support, and just really feel as though you're not alone in the world, because you are absolutely not. We are here for you. So all those links are down below. Go be you. And I'm just so excited for you, Paul 3. So excited. So excited to see that power and that beauty and that magic out in the world. Go be you. Until we meet again, stay safe and sane, Paul 3. Bye-bye.